to us about whether this will actually work. It's a big fine. You want serious behavioral changes. But when it's 90% of the market in terms of search, will it really make a difference?
Well, the difference is that now we have choice. Those who produce mobile phone for us, they can choose. Would I like to put another operating system on my phone or part of the phones I produce? For those who are search rivals to Google, they may get a fair chance actually to get to us as consumers to show their products. And of course, innovative companies say, oh, I will do something else. They may get a fair chance of getting to the consumer.
What sort of changes would make you feel that they have reached compliance? They've got 90 days to do it. What steps could ensure that we do see this sort of innovation and competition, as you say?
Well, the obvious minimum is that the contractual restrictions, that they disappear. Because you find a lot of these things in the contract. Can't do this, can't do that. But it is for Google and is their sole responsibility to make sure that this infringement comes to an effective end. And that, of course, remains to be seen what choices they make.
What about the phone manufacturers themselves? When Google search engine is about 90% of the market and is such a dominant force, do you think they really will start to offer Firefox and Bing?
Well, of course, it remains to be seen. But we know that when Amazon developed Fire OS, they were looking for manufacturers and saying, could you make a phone with this operating system? And some were interested. They wanted to do that, but they couldn't because of the restrictions, the illegal restrictions that Google put on them.
Some say this is too little, too late. Some say that particularly with the shopping ruling that you made last year, ensuring that other shopping search engines might get more prominence other than Google's, that hasn't worked either. Do we need to see a breakup of the monopolies to see competition become effective in your mind's eye?
Well, I think it's very important to see in the follow-up of the first Google decision that we have taken no decision yet. And that is, of course, for good reasons, because we cannot say that Google is complying with the decision. So that is very much an open question. And we will do the same thing. We will monitor if Google sort of lives up to this decision. And this is the important thing, because if Google lives up to the decision, then it can work here and now for manufacturers to have choice, for us as consumers to have choice. If you start with essential facility discussions or breaking up companies, it will take like forever. And what we need is competition here and now.
What about other regulators taking a leaf out of your book? Should the US be doing more to insist on competition as you see it?
Well, you know, we have limited resources, and we spend all our resources to make sure that European consumers can have fair competition and the benefits of that, of innovation, prices, choice. So we don't spend much time considering what other people should do with their resources.
What about how other people will react? We are in a political environment where relations between the EU and the US aren't at their strongest. Do you think that we might have some sort of a reaction from President Trump? Do you hope for one in some way?
Well, the thing that we have always shared with US friends is that consumers should have choice. That the important thing in the marketplace is that the market serves consumers. That businesses respect that if consumers don't like your product or your services or your prices, they will go to someone else. And these are values that we have shared with US friends always, and I don't see any reasons why this should change.
But certainly we haven't had any monopolistic investigations in the US in years.
No, but you have to ask my US colleagues of their priorities, because as I said, we've been more than busy with our own priorities.
What about, as Google has always said that it isn't at fault here, and notably they've said, look, if you force us to change our business practices, we might not be able to allow our operating system to remain free. Could that take away any element of competitiveness there and consumer benefit?
Well, one of the things always praised about Android is that it's open source. And open source is obviously for anyone, if you have the skills, not me, to see, should I do something? Should I put my skills, my ideas, into make a new version of Android? And that is doable because it's open source. And then you have another operating system. And that, I think, is a very good illustration of the benefits of competition, that if you open up, both innovative ideas and business ideas, well, they can thrive. Because this is not a judgment about business models or business ideas. This is judgment to say, well, let's open up for a competition.
What would you say in general about the dominance of certain US tech companies, such as Amazon, such as Facebook, such as Google? Do you feel that they have become too much of a power within the market?
Well, I think it's great that also European consumers have access to great products. Because I think the main reason why Google and Amazon and Facebook, why they're big in Europe, is that people like the products. And this is also why it is such a surprise to me to see these illegal practices. Why the need to cement a dominant position when people like your product? Because this is the main reason why you're big in Europe, and this, I think, will not change. As long as you're innovative, if you produce things, well, if people like your product, you're more than welcome to be successful here in Europe.
But are they too powerful?
Well, if you compete on the merits, then you are as powerful as consumers like you, because this is where your power comes from. And as long as you compete on the merits, you're more than welcome to be successful and also to grow into dominance in the European market. But the point is here that you shouldn't misuse your dominant position and do something that's illegal.